Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have my friend Loretta from Mother's Tarot back. Loretta is a fabulous tarot reader, but she's also well versed in a lot of the UFO and ET culture, is what I want to say. And she is the one that asked me if we could do this show today because this weekend is a big conference in Washington, D.C. with Dr. Stephen Greer, who is a phenomenal man. Actually, wasn't he like a surgeon or something?
He was the head of a trauma department.
A trauma department, yeah.
Yeah, for 10
who
years.
has dedicated his life to this.
Yeah.
That's why he's a doctor, but it's
well,
not
Dr. Greer, he grew up dirt poor and not a nice childhood. And at 17, because they didn't have money for a doctor, he got some kind of infection. I think it was in his leg. Yeah, it was in part of his leg. And he died as a result of it.
Oh, he had an NDE. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
And
wow.
that's when he met his galactic tribe. And
oh, that makes sense.
There
that makes sense. Yep. Well, even to listen to him, I have seen a lot of his documentaries that he's done. Uh-huh. He has a group of people that he brings together, and they do UFO sightings.
CE5, they're called.
What is it? ET tribe?
No. CE5. He has an app. Yes, right. He has an app out that anyone can put it on their phone and learn to do it, and it hooks you up with everyone else.
With everybody
that has it. Yeah, it's great.
So, I mean, he's just been doing this forever and ever. He's got 4 or 5 different videos that are on Amazon Prime. And actually, I had seen one before, and I think I bought it, and then I started to watch it again, and that had some information about the CE5.
Yeah, it might have been the unacknowledged.
I think that's what it was. Yeah,
that was his second movie. The first one was Sirius. And it's Sirius. Is the spelling of that.
Sirius, and then the second one is called
Unacknowledged.
Unacknowledged.
Yeah.
And he has his own YouTube channel, by the way.
Yes,
and so what I want you all to know, and I'll probably have to remind you as we go along, is that this weekend he's having a conference. I've put the link in. It's a free link. You can go there. It will be good for 60 days. And then there is also a discussion from another channel that I've put up here that if you're interested in looking at. And on Stephen Greer's channel, he had a interview that was done by Billy Carson, who's another one that is very well known for what he does.
Yes.
Yeah. The one that I watched, Loretta told me about it, so I watched it. I think it was Thursday night. Is called The Lost Century, and it's amazing. It's stuff I had no idea. And I've been listening to Art Bell and some of those people for years and years, But this whole thing has just, you can tell Pluto is doing its job because, boy, oh boy, I tell you, everything is becoming uncovered.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Yeah, and today and tomorrow is there's a webinar if you can't attend in person where they've got a big lineup of 2 days, but I couldn't afford to buy it, to do it stream.
I understand.
Yeah. And but the National Press Club event is free. And that's Monday, and it's going to be streamed globally, free.
Yep.
And you can find it on Dr. Stephen Greer's channel.
Thank you. And I did put it in the chat if you need it, if you're watching this later. Is that also going to be discussing the UFO bombshell that has just happened within the last few days about the whistleblower?
Well, it might be
intact vehicles.
Right.
Okay.
See, the thing is, when that came out, I thought, I mentioned to you the dominoes, they're starting to fall because, the other video I sent you, Linda Moulton Howe was in, she had a little panel,
Yep.
They seem to have little pods, the ones that are really out
true.
front. Yeah. And I was watching that and I'm thinking, this is happening because of Dr. Stephen Greer's conference this weekend and the press club event on Monday. That's why we're seeing this bam, bam, bam.
Okay.
Coming out.
Bring it all out at once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is. Yeah.
Wow.
And this political stuff is just, it's a little smoke screen to keep the maggots busy and stuff. But man, this is where my focus is. I am so excited for the future of our country. I mean, it's going to be a little bumpy ride doing the transition, but man, is it going to save us?
Well, there has been a lot of discussion over the years of just how much the extraterrestrial world has not interfered, but has saved us from things that could have destroyed us. I remember back in the 90s thinking that we were just going to all sort of fall into the sea, and there was a lot going on then. But, it didn't happen. And we were kind of like, what happened? Something happened. Yeah. And part of that, I believe, has to do with the UFO community. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I call them our galactic neighbors, because they're the ones, and they are not going to let us go down. They are.
Yep.
No. And where the Bible says Jesus is coming back. Well, in the ET speak, he's coming back. All the biggies, they're going to come make an appearance to whoever needs it. If you need to see Jesus to convince you, he's going to show up for you.
Although there'll be a lot of people that won't even believe that it's him, so it won't matter to some people are just so stuck in the way things have to look that there's no way that they're going to.
Well, in the United States, because our arrogance knows no bounds at this point. But they're already doing it around the world, and in southern South America, and remote areas, villages and stuff. They're actually landing and walking off and interfacing with people, and because they're not messed up in the head like we are from the media and all.
Like you said, they've been around for billions and billions of years, and they're so elevated in the way they can do things that it makes us look like the caveman. It really does.
Yeah,
really
exactly.
Does. Yeah. So EQ is here, and she said she looked at the program he was on yesterday, and it is time for real disclosure. That's fabulous. I agree with you so much. And disclosure and without fear-based, reprisal, I guess is the best word I want to say. Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that Dr. Greer is working on, and you'll hear all about this, is amnesty for some of the worst in the shadow government that has enabled this. But we've got, and just for a time period of 6 months to a year or something like that is what he's saying. But this is necessary in order to bring it down and get the 0 point energy out there on the market, because it's going to take down petrodollar, which is backing us right now. And we've got to retrain all these people and get them into the new technology phase, so it won't displace too much of us too hard,
But, if you watch that Lost Century documentary Stephen does, none of the energy sources that that we have right now needed to even be used, because back in even as late or as early, as like the 30s, we had people who had invented beautiful, saving us so much money from having energy come from the earth. And all of them were poo-pooed, and because they wanted to put a patent on it and were rejected by it, they also got a a warning on their head that said, we got to get rid of this guy because we don't want. It's like the thing with, if you think about it, it's almost like the cancer cure. Supposedly there's a cancer cure, but we can't know about it because big pharma would lose money.
It's a money maker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
Sad.
It is sad. I agree.
Yeah. So what brought you to Stephen Greer in the first place? I know what brought me, but I'm wondering what brought you to him.
I believe it must have been when it was it was before Unacknowledged came out, the movie and the book. I had bought the book. And but I had tapped into him before then, and also Linda Moulton Howe, but they're very different, you know.
Yeah, they are. Yep,
they're very different. And Linda's been in the trenches. God bless her, you know. And but she's in a different avenue. Stephen Greer was brought on to bring the disclosure, to get it out, to save us. And he was really, he had to do it, you know?
I mean, he had to do it bit by bit because we have to build on the paradigm so that once we got to, I think today is where this paradigm shift is coming. And I'm hoping so anyway.
I believe so too. I really do. So, yeah, it's wonderful. So I'm really looking forward to the press conference. And the thing about Disclosure 1.0, that was in that happened and took place 3 months prior to New York Twin Towers being turned into dust.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So otherwise, the ETs were probably really bullshit about 9/11 and what happened. Is that when they?
Yeah. It was a total distraction. You know.
Yeah.
You know, I believe it was an inside job. I think Judy Bloom was her last name. She was an engineer. She wrote a book about it and, you know, asked, where did the towers go?
Yep.
You know, I mean, if you think about it, metal evaporating into dust.
I know.
Really?
I know. No, I agree with you 100%. I really do. I've always, and especially felt that way about the Pentagon as well. You know, that something must have happened. Oh, thank you, EQ. Thanks, sweetheart. We have to say this is for entertainment purposes only. But you know, that's just covering our butts here. So that's what we're.
Yeah.
So this article from the Huffington Post that came out talks about this whistleblower who served in the military and was able to see craft that were non-Earth-like and in different. Some of them were part of a craft, and some of them were a total intact craft. And there's even on Stephen's the second part of Stephen Greer's. He shows how they were built, how hard it was to get inside. It's almost impossible to get inside of them, and they float. You know, they don't rest on anything. But thinking about that, and how far in advance they are from us.
Oh yeah.
You know, so we have back engineered some stuff though, haven't we? We have.
Yeah, and we're about. The public doesn't know it, but Dr. Stephen Greer talks about it because he's plugged in to all the people.
Yes.
And our technology is 1,000 years, the shadow government has this, is 1,000 years beyond what we can comprehend right now. You know?
Okay.
It'd be like, you know, living in the 1900s and somebody handing you a cell phone.
Yeah, right.
You know, that kind of thing, you know, yeah.
And actually, haven't they also said that, you know, time travel is not a big problem as well with this technology? I'm not sure.
the technology. I don't know if the technology plays into time travel.
Okay.
Or if that would be, I believe, in the consciousness of
Okay.
us.
I get you.
You know,
Okay.
as our souls
Elevate.
Yep. Yeah. Then it's no problem. You know,
Sure.
Greer's been doing it. See, he taught meditation before he ever went to medical school. You know,
Okay.
and yeah, he's been doing it for so many decades. You know,
Sure.
doing the travel. So yeah, it's great. So
well, so this press conference that he is having, is that going to be the same information that will be in a press conference that this is?
yeah, it's going to be you mean the one about the news?
About finding the intact craft and so on?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes, I would do believe so. Yeah. And yeah, it's going to be really mind-blowing for many, many people. It will be. And also he's asking for us to write our elected representative. He put out, so I'm on the mailing list. So, and he sent a form letter thing to use. Although I shot one of my own out before that, you know, wasn't as articulate, but it got to the point. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the only people that usually read them are the people that work for our elected officials, but at least somebody gets a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's, you know, so I'm kind of glad I sent mine first because, you know, I have a special way.
So Kim said, did anyone else see the action over Las Vegas? Do you know anything about that? I didn't know. What was it, Kim? Was it a bunch of UFOs? Because that's so close to Area 51.
I think I heard something about it, but I've just been a little too distracted to delve into it. But the thing also about, you know, when they appear, that, you know, you could be amongst 1,000 people and no one else will see it but you.
Right.
Because
I did know that.
Yeah. So I'm sure that it happened. You know,
sure,
but whether everybody saw it or not, like the one over Phoenix.
Yep.
I haven't heard from Dr. Greer whether that was ours or theirs.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
And
because the Tic Tac shaped ones are us, right? The ones that look like a Tic Tac. Those aren't those ours? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, those are ours. Okay. Yeah. In fact, he'll even tell you if you watch his interview. I wish I could remember the name, but anyway, one of the big companies created that, built it, and transported it, and set it up. So, but the one thing that I'm not, you know, I'm still curious about is because back into the days of Columbus sailing the ocean blue, they saw a craft coming up out of the ocean. You know, and there's been plenty of sailors, you know, over the centuries that have seen that.
That have seen it. Yeah.
And there hasn't been much exposed about that, mainly just in the skies, you know.
Sure.
And there was one of these underwater little, they're round, they put people in them, and they got the windows in them, and they send them down deep. And I saw one video that was released where there was a hand that hit the window, and it, you know, a little webbing, but it was an actual hand. You know, it wasn't a fish. So you know, I'm curious about that, and I don't, you know, not many of us know much about that. So those kind of
Kim says it was a large orb with maybe 5 smaller orbs that came from it, which could be a mothership.
They come out of them.
They all took off except one, which joined the larger one and then disappeared. There was also a report of a ship that crashed in someone's backyard.
Really?
I'm going to have to check into that. That's really interesting, Kim. Thank you.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that. But I did hear about, I shouldn't have done that. I heard about somebody, well, maybe it was this one about the backyard one, because they said that the galactic one that came out of it was like way tall for the craft.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part I remember about it. Is that what you heard about that, Kim?
Yeah, let us know, Kim. Yeah.
Because I remember hearing about that. But also, one of the guys that's been in this for a while, he also has talked to people, and it's been reported that when you enter some of these craft, the outside, if it looks like it's the size of your house, and you walk into it, it suddenly is the size of 3 football fields.
Like a whole community. Wow.
Yeah, but the size different, so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the light of the ship coming down before it hit was picked up by a neighbor, by the Ring camera, and a police body cam.
Oh,
wow.
That's
wow.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, TARDIS. Okay. So there's some tall talk and some TARDIS talk. Kim says 2 boys witnessed the crash, heard a big thud, said they, and they say a 10-foot being with green skin and large eyes that paralyzed him when they locked eyes.
Yeah.
So there's one of the talls. That's what they're talking about. Wow.
A tall gray. Yeah.
Either that, or if you say the Greys aren't really here anymore.
No, it
sounds like an Anunnaki, doesn't it? Even though that was a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but even the Anunnaki were not shaped like Greys.
No, that's true. That's true.
And but the Greys, I've read it in 2 books now that and most recently this one.
Okay.
And it says right out in there that they've been out of the picture for 10 years now. And this book came out in 2016.
Okay.
So
wow. They said they were very tall and very thin.
Yeah.
And Isabella says, I think the Greys are short. I think the Greys are shorter.
There are some that are short, like between 3.5 and 4 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the ones that are, more like 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like I was telling you before we come on live, the Dulce base.
Yeah. Talk about that.
There's what they call the Nightmare Alley, I think is what they call it, where they do genetic engineering on people and combine that, animals used, galactic Greys that were here, the combination, and there's some really freakish stuff there. And so, it could be another product of the laboratory. Dr. Stephen Greer will tell you that 99 are fake. What we have been witnessing and experiencing for most are fake. And they are responsible for the abductions. The shadow government is responsible for the abductions. Not, the original Greys. Well, and then there was a part in the book too that they said the Greys, the ones that started the abductions when they were here, they had no idea the damage that they were doing.
Oh yeah, I believe that. I believe that.
Yeah. And and so that played into them leaving. Plus the ones that are protecting us, also are intervening, saying, you can't be doing this.
Right.
You've got to let them, because they're not supposed to interfere. Do no harm. If their creed, do no harm, and they try not to interfere, but they do help us. And like Christ. Christ was half galactic and half mankind, half galactic and half man, and in that way they have tried to help, so to my knowledge.
And a lot of people are saying that people that we believe are ascended masters and or even angels very, very possibly could be extraterrestrials.
What we consider to be.
Right, right. So Hypnicity wonders if the grays were more gray, green, and white when they were here. Yeah.
Well, maybe like a washed out gray. You know,
okay.
More not white, but a washed out gray. But also, the stories go back decades about that. There's some tall whites, and Linda Moulton Howe has talked about this quite a bit. There are tall whites that work with the grays. Now, and then there's a story also that they created the grays because the grays are robotic. They have some bioengineering involved, but they are robotic. They are programmed to do a job when they come here.
Yes. Yeah.
So
well, kind of like AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly like AI, only with a little more
with
flex.
a twist. That's right. So there were crafts before Roswell.
Yeah.
And that's what Greer talks about too in his most recent documentary. And he shows them, and he also shows how many military people had to keep their mouths shut for years and years and years. Even what's his name? Until he didn't care anymore. The astronaut. Well, the astronaut too. Yeah. And
well,
then finally
they started stepping up. Is that these guys were they were on their deathbed, and they started talking. You know, and that just
because really. Who cares? Yeah.
Oh, exactly. I would do the same. Yeah.
Sure. Exactly. Which tell the others. You told me that Greer. There was somebody that asked the question: would Greer? Why hasn't he been offed? Because he's presenting all of this stuff. And and
he has a dead man switch. Yeah, he has a dead man switch. Yeah. So he's got information globally, placed globally within his team. And if he dies, even if he dies from natural causes, I believe that's going to activate that dead man switch. And when they first threatened him at the very first onset, well, he had already died when he was 17. He knew what the game was. And he just laughed at him, said, go ahead, make my day. Because he understood the power that we have. He understood it. It's well worth watching and listening to all of Greer.
Absolutely. So Kim wonders, and Aspie is here as well, and Aspie Third Eye, she's and Squadio Data, I don't know if she's here today. Both of them are very big extraterrestrial people. You know what I mean? They UFO people.
Yeah.
And so Kim wonders if there are any that have empathy, and I would say if there is, it would be the Pleiadians and the Arcturians. Would you say? Do both of those have empathy?
Yeah. The more evolved or tapped in, and some are more empathetic than others. And you've got the technical ones, and they all have skill sets, and but they all look at us like we are one fascinating bunch because of the way we were created and come about. We're different, and
we are different. Yeah,
I heard stories that there are some galactics out there that when they need something tweaked technology-wise or something, it may take them 30 of our years, but for us, it would take a year. We get it all,
Yes, absolutely. Time is different, and the technology, the know-how and putting things together.
Yeah, and we're very special here on this planet, and they love our planet. So,
and they don't like what we're doing to it.
No, and they're not going to let us destroy it either.
No. That's right. Yes, thanks, Mary Louise, for bringing up the book that Loretta mentioned, Where Did the Towers Go? By Judy Ward. That's the one. Yeah, exactly. That's a great one.
It is.
Kim asks, do the ETs realize their, quote, lost ships and equipment are being hoarded by military for military purposes? And are they okay with that, do you think?
They do know, and they are not okay with it.
Yeah.
They do know, and they're not okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like, I was saying maybe to Allie, when they bring this out fully, you know, and have to deal with those in the shadow government, the message to them is going to be, we're going to do this the easy way or the hard way.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
They can shut them off. I mean, like that. Drop them.
Sure.
Just drop them. And, you know, they don't want to go to war, but they know that they are going to have to give them, let's say, a demonstration of their abilities, because we don't have any compared to them. They are billions and billions and billions of years beyond us. And the Pleiadians are, and the Racketerians are right behind them. So
sure. So Aspie does human-initiated contact, and she's never had a negative experience, she says.
No, you won't.
Yeah.
No, you won't. The CE5 app that Dr. Greer's put out is safe. Anybody can do it and use it. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Absolutely. It's funny because what I think about it when I think about extraterrestrials is the difference between Independence Day and ET.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, we don't have a real middle ground. We mostly have fear-based movies like Independence Day and others.
Yeah.
But, you know, you had a sweet movie, E.T., and, you know, it was great, but it was almost as though it was touted as a child's movie and really nothing that was serious.
But that's more true than not, is what happened there. And Stephen Greer was given the records to go over to create a movie that would introduce this to the population. So
Ange, I think the weekend conference is that, but there is a press conference.
Yeah, the press conference is free. Yeah.
When is that going to be? Tomorrow?
Monday. Monday is the press conference, and it's at 2:00 Eastern time. And that is free. That will be streamed globally. Free.
Okay. All right.
Worldwide.
So his conference, though, this weekend is not free. I didn't know that. I thought it was.
Yeah, no, it's
press conference is free. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that myself. The press club. The press club is absolutely free, and it's going to be about an hour and a half, is what they're saying time-wise.
Okay.
And
so, Isabella, as far as connection with your galactic family, a lot of that can be done with some meditation or working with somebody. But people like Aspie, Aspie, do you do it? Do you do it on Zoom one-on-one? If you do, let us know, because people like Isabella may be interested in doing something like that. And so, yeah.
And there's another lady also on the web. And she actually created this deck, the ET Experiencer.
Okay. Yeah.
And her name is Tana Newberry. Her site is tananewberry.com.
TANNA?
No, TANA.
TANA.
Newberry.com. Yeah. And,
is it Newberry like the fruit? Berry like the fruit?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I just want to make sure it's in there right.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll put
Okay. The other thing is we do have Dr. Gale, who works on the ships. She's has a community here as well. Yes.
She just goes by Dr. Gale?
Yeah, I can probably send you that information, but she was a chiropractor. That's how she was a doctor. But Dr. Gale, she lives in Mount Shasta. And she has been doing this for a very long time. So,
all right. And we say she's lived on the ships?
She works on them, she says.
She works on the spaceship.
She works on the ships. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I'd
what
be
she said.
fascinated
For
about
Star
it.
Sea or Ashtar Command or something. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
When she has come on before, when she first came out, no one was really talking about this. And people were thinking she was kind of crazy, and but it would be kind of hard unless this becomes more and more mainstream. Of course it is. Sounds crazy. But Dr. Gale has worked and brought in other professionals. So I'll be happy to, as a matter of fact, I'll look it up while we're talking here and see if I can find it. All right. So and you can carry on with your conversation.
Has she written any books? I'm wondering, Dr. Gale, that you know.
I don't think so. No, okay. Her channel is Dr. Gale Skywalking with Moon. Is the name of it.
I'm gonna need the link on that. Yeah.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Susie. And there's the link.
All right, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
she has a lot of guests on too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah. Now I'm going to show them this book, The ETs Speak.
Yep.
Because this is really great.
Okay.
It's very informative. They've got the Palladians, the Arcadians, and much more in here. And this came about, I believe, because of the work that Dolores Cannon did when she
that makes sense.
Yeah, because through her technique, that came through, the ET's information. And the author of this, Howard Beatty, is the author of this book.
Yep.
I didn't know it or realize it at the time, but he also put out a book, Spiritual Journeys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so if you're working with a therapist or somebody who does regressive therapy, this is a good book. Good. I kind of thought I was going to be able to do it myself, and I thought, oh well. So now I'm looking at taking the course that the one Dolores Cannon created.
QHHT.
QHHT. Yeah, quantum hypnosis healing technique. Yeah.
I've been under it twice. It's fabulous. It really
good. Because I just located a woman in Edmonds who does it. She's an intern. So I'm gonna go and
there's actually my friend Angie. She does it, and she's in Shelton. So
really, no, I saw her name and I couldn't find her information anywhere.
Oh, so maybe she's not doing it.
That link, I would love it.
Okay. Yeah. She was doing it in the past, and she lived up in sort of beyond Linwood area up there, but they moved to Shelton. And of course, Edmonds, Washington. Yes. Loretta is also from Washington State.
I'm over in Paulsbo, where I'm just about 10 miles west of Seattle across the bay.
Yep. So one-on-one or small groups where newbies have something else with them in real time. I've never had anyone else to make contact with me, but others might be afraid. Well, if people are interested, Aspie, you need to let us know so we can talk about it and put it on our community pages for you. And and you can pick whoever you want. You can go one-on-one if you don't want a big crowd. But there are people that are interested in it, and so I think you
can even do it by yourself, but here there's too much light. There's too much skylight here in Paulsbo because we're too close to Seattle, and and I didn't have a car, but that's changing. That's changed. Right. So, I absolutely would love to go out with like a small group, nothing big overwhelming, and do a CE5. I would.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that live here in Washington State. Nalani does. She's Hypnicity. Wiki's here. Amanda Carroll lives around here. We've got a number of people here. So, it might be something that we could put together at some point.
That would be really cool. Yeah, I'd love that. So.
Oh, yes, Aspie, you have to go out in the woods, don't you? Because you're near Memphis. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots
Got
of
all that
colors.
light pollution in the air.
Yes. So when I was telling Loretta, when I was in Sedona, no light pollution, and we're taking pictures in the sky. And one of the gals, she got a beautiful angel. It was it was like it looked like a cloud is what it looked like. But we were talking about the fact that some people have, and even in some of the old writing from way back, people have described these beings as being angels or being gods or whatever in the mythological realm. Yeah.
Well, in the Old Testament, all of the characters in there that are being called gods, the Elohim, they are extraterrestrial. They are galactic.
Right.
They're off planet. Yeah. So, and like
Absolutely.
I said, Christ himself was half galactic and half man,
Yeah.
So he was really tapped in.
He was. Yep.
And we got two rules: love yourself and love the others. That's it.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So does anybody have any questions? And I'm sorry that if I misrepresented that his thing was free. I just thought it was.
Yeah, I thought he had done something to switch that, but I knew the press conference was. Absolutely.
Right. So the press conference is going to take place at 2:00 Eastern time on Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
The 12th.
And I'm sure that you will also be able to see a replay of it.
Yeah.
The link is in the very beginning of this show. Let's see. Yeah. It's right here.
There you
and
go.
This is the DC.
Yep,
it's in DC. Yep.
Yep.
So
it's
at
the National Press Club, just like it was in 2001. And so awesome. I sent letters out to my representatives telling them all to, they need to be there or they need a rep there. And they all need to get in on this. And I told them, time waits for no one.
Oh, no kidding. Especially after you see that video about the wasted century.
Yeah, it is so sad. It really is. I mean, I think it was 1920. He talked about there was a man who invented, and I'm not good with technical jargon, but anyway, it took like it takes 2 watts to run this light bulb, but the light bulb is throwing out 750 watts. Right. It's only bringing in 2 and it's throwing out
all that. We could have had that free all along. Yeah, we could have had it free.
Yeah, that's where this free point energy, or not free, but 0 point energy. That's what they call it. 0 point energy. Yeah.
Tesla was one of the people, but there were also others that he talks about. So, and he did talk about how when Tesla died, that they went right in and took all his stuff. And
they did.
Got rid of it. Yeah. Did.
And how the patent office, you catch up with the patent office too?
Patent office. Yeah.
They're stealing everything.
They steal everything and they don't use it. Right.
Well, I'm sure the shadow government's using it.
For something.
The rest of us are froze out.
So Anne said she watched an interview with, must have been on Carson's show. He spoke to some of the points he's presenting tomorrow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Billy Carson.
That's probably Billy Carson's show.
Again this morning. Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to watch. Nancy Vasquez says, can you talk about their reveal that's coming in the next few years? Do we know?
Yeah. Well, see, this is, when you watch this Disclosure 2.0 that Dr. Greer is doing Monday. Mm-hmm. And I just heard him say they've got a team of 20 attorneys going after known people in the shadow government on RICO charges.
Right.
Now, if you remember, we couldn't get Capone on anything, not murder, not nothing. Got him on tax evasion. That's why they created the RICO, because they couldn't get Capone.
I know.
I know. And now, but some other big shot genius is being taken down right at this very moment on RICO charges.
Yep. Real big shot. Real big shot. definitely focus on the big. Focus on the big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the truth will shock many, especially those who don't believe in it. And the thing is that we can't even show things here on Earth that people will believe. Like that person who's getting RICO charges. You show all this, it doesn't matter what you show, it's not real, it's fake. And so it's going to be the same way. And the only thing that's going to, and I was asking Loretta, I said, what about the people with the AR-15s that are out there shooting at these things? And, the thing is, thank God they're as advanced as they are, because they probably can put up, shields and things like that.
But for those people, for the MAGA people, I would recommend Paul Anthony Wallace.
Okay.
He wrote this series, Echoes of Eden.
Yeah.
And he, before writing the books, he was helping priests and preachers, ministers from around the world. He's an Australian man, Wales descent. And he translates the Bible. I mean, and like I said, in the Old Testament, those are all ETs in there. All of them.
Yeah.
Or,
Yep. True.
It's all ETs. And he is excellent at leading the people, the reader, to see, to understand what, because they weren't, the translation that we had, the barrier of language, and also like I said too, it's all, when my daughter asked me at 8 years old what that Bible was about, I told her it was about controlling the masses, and it absolutely
definitely. Yeah, because they took out a whole bunch of stuff too.
Now I'm gonna plug Mario Biglio, okay?
The Naked Bible.
He worked in the bowels of the Vatican for 10 years transcribing. The word God is not in the Bible anywhere. Anywhere. And
in the original, right?
Yeah, in the original text, it's nowhere. So, and then I think it was this, what century? The 6th century, the 16th, when the powers that be in the churches got a hold of the old Bibles, and they said, well, that's when they tweaked them really bad, and it's been tweaked again since the modern day Bible that we have, and I mean, there's
what is it, Pope Gregory, I think it was, that took out all the information about reincarnation and things like that.
If you read the book of Ezekiel in the Bible, he's measuring a spaceship and the docking station right there, and I don't know if you remember and if you look at the old paintings of the Renaissance, you got ETs shining their light down when Christ was born, and you got the battle. There's a battle in the skies that they witnessed, that these were ETs up there, but it doesn't say it in plain language in the Bible. And so,
and that's one of the things that people have a problem with. What's the cognitive dissonance? In other words, we weren't brought up to believe it. So when people say it, we're like, no, you don't mess with that. And so you can show me anything that you want, and I'm not going to change my mind. So you do get a lot of that still. And of course, the MAGAs aren't going to watch any of it or read any of it, because they don't read, or most of them.
But also in the book, the ETs speak, because this is addressed in there. And so when the new earth comes about, those that have ascended themselves and actually plugged into the truth, they will, well, it's like Left Behind, the movie Left Behind, when just their clothes was there. They'll be gone. And the MAGAs will be here on their own old earth. And also we had Buddha, one of the Buddha people, through his higher ascension. And I was watching, I had this on the TV one day, and my 20-year-old grandson snapped his head. I says, yeah, people could do that. He was there so long that nothing was left but his clothes, just like in the movie Left Behind. And it was in real time, witnessed by people. And I don't know how long ago this happened, but it wasn't that long. I think it was in the 20th century when this happened. Yeah.
So yes, the book is The Naked Bible by Biglio. And Christine said both gentlemen present their findings and explain the true meaning in an understanding way what the Bible translation means. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's funny because back in the 90s when I was going to school, I was taking a class in Islam, the rise of an empire. And my teacher was a Coptic Christian. And he told us all about things in the Bible that were not, like one of them was where the Red Sea was. You know, Moses parted the Red Sea. And he said, it's not the Red Sea, it's the Reed Sea.
Yeah, it's a smaller one.
It's a smaller.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was telling us all these things. And, you know, that virgin means unmarried woman. Yep.
Paul Anthony writes about it. Paul Anthony Wallace. Yeah, exactly. That's why the MAGA should read his writings.
So, Ange, you joined in at the beginning, craft emerging from the water. Maybe that's why the indigenous people of this country mistook the European invader murderers as being the extraterrestrials. That's very possible. Yes. Yeah.
That's possible.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. And lost in translation. Everything's lost in translation.
It really
if it's not nailed down completely. Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
True.
It is.
Yeah. All right. And you said on Gaia, you can find the fifth kind with all this information. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks
for
sharing.
And Billy Carson has got his own network. It's called Forbidden Knowledge.
Yes.
Number 4 and then biddenknowledge.com. And it's $7.77 a month plus tax.
Okay. And that's Billy Carson.
Yeah. I go.
But the interview with Greer was on Greer's channel, right?
Yeah.
With Billy. Yeah.
Yeah, because I subscribe to him and I'll get all caught up and then I'll unsubscribe. And you can go back and forth. No big deal for him.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, this is a topic that is absolutely explosive. I think that Greer's press conference and also the fact that we have a whistleblower in the United States intelligence, hopefully they'll bring it up. I know there's other things they're seeing as more important.
Yeah, but there will be there will be whistleblowers there. There's going to be high intel there. There's going to be military there. All the big players are going to be there. Yeah. And it's going to be wonderful.
That's awesome. And you can see on Prime, Amazon Prime, you can see a lot of Dr. Stephen Greer's
unacknowledged. Yeah. And unacknowledged. You can watch that free on many venues. The Lost Century, I paid $20 for it because I was not going to miss out on that. And Serious Disclosure, the SIRI disclosure.com. That movie is also available free on many venues. And
that's great.
Let's see.
So Greer is a crusader. For more pure human initiated, Costa Macraeus, Macris.
I got to tell you something really interesting about Dr. Greer. He was on an interview with an astrologist a few days ago. I watched. I can't remember her name right now. But she told Dr. Greer that he has got not any earth signs in his makeup. None of them are earth signs. That is why he has been able to do what he has done. You know, I thought it was really cool. I went and checked mine. I got 2 earth signs in mine.
Well, it makes a lot of sense that he was here. This is his mission. This was his mission. Yeah.
Yes, it is absolutely his mission. Yeah. He's a wonderful man. And he's got 12 grandchildren and he's looking out for everybody. You know, he's really good.
So before we leave today, because it's almost been an hour,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, Loretta, to go ahead and pull some cards from your deck and just take a look at what's coming, if you can. See if there's, is that enough of a question? Oh, thanks, Aspie. The CE5 handbook is available in several languages. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you very much.
Around the world. And it's happening lots of places.
Lots
now,
of places.
Did you want me to pull an ET experiencer card?
Yeah. Do it, girl. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else here that has experienced either ET experience or UFO sighting? I did when I was 11 years old, and I didn't have a ET, experience with an ET, but I did see a UFO go over my head. And I just wonder how many other people, if there are any other people here in the chat, have had this happen to them?
I was 14 when I had. And it's missing time. I thought it wasn't an abduction. It wasn't an abduction by the Greys. And I talked to my guide, Chardon, and because I'd always had I always questioned the Palladians. Was it them that took me off? And he said, no, it was the Arcadians.
Arcadians.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I was
not the Arcturians. Okay.
Arcturians, is that what they're called? Arcturians?
Arcturians, yeah.
Yeah. And I was in a full-on run and just vanished. And then they put me back in the kitchen when I returned, and nothing was ever said about it. But man,
wow,
yeah. It was,
I didn't have that experience, fortunately, but my father did think I was eating rum raisin ice cream, and that they must have put a lot of rum in it because he didn't really.
The card I got was hybrid program.
Okay.
It says you are a genetic participant. So.
And you just talked about that, how there is a hybrid program.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Christ. Yeah. He's half galactic and half man. Then I call that a hybrid program.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, Emerald, you've had 5 different UFO sightings in California? Wow. And Christina saw one in San Antonio a few years ago. Craig said he didn't see anything when he was in the Air Force, but that doesn't mean there wasn't anybody there, Craig.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. No.
What do I get? I get Mount Shasta, Lemurian energy, earth power, ley lines, and star seeds, harmony, equal, connected, and gratitude. Right now, there's Danny Shea and Kim are going to Mount Shasta this week. So it'll be interesting to see what they saw.
Well, this is what I got for the unseen at the bottom of the deck here, right here.
Okay.
It says, help humanity. Your experience guided you to help people. That's why we're here, Alan.
That's why we're here. Yep.
That's right.
And we need to go with the flow.
Yep, we do. Gotta do it.
What we did. We found our soul family.
Yeah.
In the circle of life. Yeah.
We have. How many do we have here, Alex?
Let's see. Well, Emerald Buddha saw 5. Christine saw 1. Anne saw 1. Ange saw one about 10 years ago in New York City, and another lady saw it also. She said, Hypnicity used to watch craft over Watsonville. So, and of course, we have Aspie, who has seen lots and lots of things, because she does work with that.
I got the card, True Experience.
Okay.
Your experience was real. Don't doubt it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't doubt it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah, Aspie. I'm sure you've seen hundreds and hundreds of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you have. That's the hardest thing. We don't always see them if we're in a very light area where there's a lot of lighting and a lot of, because it clouds it. And sometimes I've been told that they are hiding in clouds. They can hide in the clouds. So.
But what picks them up really good is the night cameras.
Okay. Well, it's like us out there taking those pictures of nothing and then seeing what we took pictures of. Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's so cool.
It is cool. It is. It is cool. Wow.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yes. One thing I learned about you, Loretta, is that this is something that's been a lifelong pursuit of learning, and it's really wonderful that you can share what you've learned with us. And this whole thing that you told us about, this underground 7-story.
Oh, Dulce. The Dulce.
Is that DULCE?
DULCIE or DULCE.
Okay.
There's a man by the name of John Schroeder. It's a thin book. Beautiful man. He was an engineer. There was construction going on. They accidentally broke through a wall or floor, found themselves. This was 60 Marines, special forces type people that were in construction working here. And they went, there was a battle. It's famous battle of Dulce. And of course, 60 out of the 63 men that were there perished in that battle.
Oh, really?
He was one of 3 that survived, and he was the last one that was taken out. And I don't have the book right here with me, but yeah, John Schroeder was his name. He started talking, and that's why they took him out. He was in Boise, Idaho the last time that he gave his presentation, and there is YouTube videos on him showing him doing this. But yeah, and they took out, gosh, he lost fingers, and one of his hands was really messed up. But yeah, the Dulce base, that's the one you want to check out.
Okay, that's the one. So Christine, that's kind of that experience where you were at the light and you looked to the right and at a speed stop on a dime, hovered, then zipped away, and your daughter gasped. Well, that's what my experience was at 11, was going up a hill, seeing and just being brought up because of the light, looking up, not any noise, just the light. And it's just quietly went up and went down behind the church. So it was amazing. I'll never forget. Never forget it.
Yeah. And the one I saw up in the sky, what was the night sky? I was out there, you went out to stargaze. So it wasn't up close and personal, but it was doing this in a quantum speed.
Sure.
Triangle, And I mean, and I thought, that's not from this earth. It was 1968. We can't do that,
Yeah. Well, mine was 66, so I understand. Yeah. They've been around, of course, forever, longer than that. But yeah. Well, if we have seen or experienced them, we were meant that as a part of our life. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where it is part of
this
who
is
we're supposed
part
to
of our journey, part of our mission.
Part of our journey.
Yeah.
Yep. To bring the light. Bring the light.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Loretta, thank you. Thank you for asking me to host the show and
so much,
to talk about it. And I had a really nice time and a lot of great information. I'm looking forward Monday to listening to Dr. Greer.
Me too. Yeah. Everybody be there. Spread the word.
Spread the word. That's right. That's right.
Really.
You have a wonderful weekend. And also remember, this is nothing to fear. This is just no. And a lot of people are uncomfortable. They tend to think, but no, it's nothing to fear. So thank you.
We don't have to have nothing to fear from our galactic neighbors. Nothing.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.